Released in 2022, we've got another very unusual entry for this channel, the 1/6 Scale Technical Geek by WorldBox. This is part of their long-running figure series called Downtown Union, which is themed around gangsters and low-life dwellers of the urban jungle. For a frame of reference, this kind of crime drama setting is especially similar to that of the Yakuza video game series. But the characters here are largely based on the unlicensed likenesses of various actors across Asia. This technical geek, however, is based on one of the most celebrated game developers of all time, Hideo Kojima, who's responsible for beloved titles such as Snatcher, Policenauts, PT, Death Stranding, and most importantly, the Metal Gear series. And if you've been with this channel for a while, then you'd know I'm all about these obscure video game figures. Starting with the head sculpt, the likeness is actually pretty on point. I honestly wasn't expecting much out of this one, but if you know who Kojima is, then you would most definitely see the resemblance. It's also very thoughtful of WorldBox to include two sets of glasses. They're not lensed for ease of maintenance, but these styles are accurate to what Kojima wears in real life. What is strange though, is that the glasses hang pretty far above the nose, because the slots by the ears that anchor these frames are kinda shallow. It's certainly not a deal breaker, but they do obscure the eyes a little, thus making this otherwise brilliant portrait a bit toyish in some angles. The costume is very stylish though. WorldBox went for this sleek techwear aesthetic, which is rather fitting for the character. The best part is, this jacket actually resembles the one Kojima had bought back in 2017. The major difference is that the double yellow stripes on the right are missing, and of course it's not real leather. Instead, it feels a little plasticky like a raincoat, but it's very tapered and certainly looks a lot like leather. WorldBox is once again very thoughtful for adding a bonus jacket to the final product. This one is made of a shimmery fabric as a contingency, on the off chance that the fake leather one would break down one day. The tailoring is identical, except for an additional logo above the decorative chest pocket. The long sleeve hoodie underneath is plain but appropriate. It's got a working hood, pockets, and zipper. I wouldn't bother with the latter though, unless you really want to see Kojima's sculpted abs, which he absolutely gained from cringing over every terrible decisions Konami has ever made. This pair of jeans are awesome too. I love the back pockets, which are each sporting this Japanese Daruma doll design, and the cuffs are very tapered, adding to that techwear theme. The sneakers are just okay. They're completely sculpted, but the textures are a bit murky and the paint app a bit rough. Still though, I really like the choice of colors on the bottom, as it goes really well with the bright accents across the outfit. Now, WorldBox is no stranger to making their own figure bodies, so let's see how this one fares with this particular costume. The head sculpt ends at the base of the neck, which works wonders here. Even with the zipper up, this jacket copes really well with the shoulder action. But if I was to leave this figure in a pose, I'd do so with the backup jacket to preserve the fake leather. And even then, I'd still be careful with the story stripes as they're separately sewn on. The torso movements are a-okay, and the jeans don't get in the way of the pelvis action as well. The ankle joints are less than robust, which isn't too surprising given the sculpted shoes. There's so many accessories I don't even know where to begin, so I'm gonna randomly start with this Alienware Area 51M gaming laptop. The keys on this keyboard are surprisingly legible, and the vents and slots around the laptop are pretty accurate too, even if the paint for the backlight looks a little goofy. There are two sticker options for the screen display, which are too permanent for my liking, so I'm just gonna leave it blank. Next is of course a fashionable bag for the laptop. It's preloaded with foam to hold up the shape, with a strap that's decently intricate. Then we have a set of these Vocal Utopia headphones. Pretty bougie for such a character, but it does look great with details even in the inner earpiece. These aren't articulated, meaning they don't hug around the ears, so I just put them down by the neck instead. Good enough. Next is this quadcopter drone. The molding for this one is kinda sloppy, as evident from the blurry panel linings. The rotor blades don't spin, but each of the four motors can be retracted for storage. This is followed by what I assume is a smart device for controlling this drone. But I'm gonna go with the comic strip from this release and say that this Oculus Quest makes for a better controller. The headset is one sculpted piece, with some rough details littered all around. There's nothing inside the visor as expected, but it is very light, so it stays on the head sculpt without any struggle. The controllers are spot on too, with all the buttons having this reflective coating. And of course this release has got you covered, with a set of hands designed to hold these controllers. Typical of WorldBox, these parts all look gritty and realistic. Then we have a stun gun, modeled after the real-life Taser X2. The dual cartridges on the front are also removable, so you can install the other option, which features these expanded taser wires with a probe on each end. Next, we have a pair of bitcoins that somehow manifested themselves into the physical reality in the form of these comical diecast coins. And finally, the last one is this oddball of a display base. It looks like a mix between a portable hard drive and a PC tower. It even opens up like a drawer, revealing a support stem within. It's an interesting design to say the least. Now, this isn't part of this release, but for those of you who picked up this unlicensed 6-scale replica of the PlayStation 5 by TYSToys, it feels right at home to have it displayed next to Kojima. The hands for the Quest controllers are a perfect fit for these DualSense controllers as well. Just a fun extra option for those who are interested. For the size comparison, let's bust out Kojima's most iconic creation, the renowned Special Forces operative known as Snake. Both versions of him by TYSToys, as they appeared in Metal Gear Solid 5. Kojima actually already has something like this in his studio, but as someone who loves breaking the fourth wall in his own games, I wonder what would Kojima think of his own figure standing next to Snake. You know, other than the overwhelming bummer that nothing here is made with his permission. So there you have it, the 1/6 scale technical geek, who looks a lot like Hideo Kojima by WorldBox. From the unusual choice for likeness to the somewhat rough accessories that perpetuate the otaku stereotype, this release isn't gonna be for everyone. Nevertheless, this figure is very stylish, much like the techie who inspired it. The gaming laptop and console also make for some unique props. I certainly had a lot of fun with this one, and in the end, that's really what this hobby is all about.